98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It is the Friday edition, and that means this is the last edition of the show for the week as we continue to build up to the second year anniversary of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Remember, in February 2023, he won his election, defeating the PDP candidates by polling a total of about 8.7 million votes, as against the 6.9 million by Atiku Abubakar and 6.1 million by the Labour Party candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. And the last 24 months, almost 24 months, had been, mixed feelings. Nigerians have had to grapple with a lot of policies, politics itself, and how some of these issues are constantly, move on to shape how Nigerians perceive the kind of democracy that we have in the country. Well, your view of everything we've done in the course of the outgoing week, I couldn't read, but today, from the 1st to the last Friday of June, and then the Friday preceding the local government election in Lagos, would give you more information. Interested or concerned about creating awareness at the local government level in respect to how the people should get involved in a local government election. Well, the 12th of July 2025 has been stated as the date by last year. That's the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, where we'll have the local government election in the state across the 20 local government and the 37 LCDAs, to Surulere, to Bejuleki, to Ikorodu 1, LCDAs and local government would go to the polls on the 12th of July to choose who last 1 year, especially after the Supreme Court judgment that affirmed the autonomy of local government. Now local government chairmen are getting more money, rather contest to be a local government chairman than to contest for House of Assembly. And I laughed. There used to be a time where local government used to be like a compensation for what I'm talking about, but now it looks like the conversation is changing. You have local government chairmen now getting allocation as much as 600 million, 500 million, 400 million, 300 million from the Federation account. There's no local government, there's no House of Assembly member that will get that. Fact. Was so much money to work with. You have a lot of revenue coming into your local government. You have allocation directly from the Federation account. Just the way the governors are getting their allocation as a local government chairman, you are also the governor. That is how we have the councillors at different wards also scrutiny judgments. We had states that didn't conduct local government for 10 years. There were no elections. They had different nomenclatures to qualify them. They had transition locations and funds to be disbursed to democratically elected local government chairmen. So the state that have not conducted elections in 10 years, within 6 months, they were able to conduct elections. And we've seen a whole lot of that. But Lagos is always the last masquerade, the biggest masquerade, actually. The spokesperson of the All Progressive Congress in Lagos joined me on the show. That was a build up to the APC primaries. And he doctored. They already had the names of the local government chairman, chairmanship candidates, maybe the state chairman of the All Progressive Congress. There were a lot of controversy. I remember, the news, they picked up nomination form. They were not allowed to be part of the primaries. There was Baba's 57 of those local government chairmanship candidates will go to the polls on the 12th of July. Of course, alongside other political parties to choose who. Conversation on the show today, we're going to discuss the issues that have to do with administrative responsibilities at the local government. Would be able to have that conversation for all of the Fridays in June, and we'll talk about the responsibilities of local government chairmen in terms of some of their healthcare center. We'll try to define hierarchies of political parties, or they indeed represent the interests of the local government or the LCDs that the July 12th local government election in Lagos. And I've actually been following the build up to the election. I've seen candidates as well. Everyone seems to want to throw their hat in the ring to see how they can go about it. But you and I know that oftentimes local government election, saw the election in Akwa State, all of the local government went to the PDP except the local government of the president of the Nigerian Senate. I'm sure you have an idea of how that went to the All Progressive Congress. We also saw it in Plateau, in Bauchi, in Kaduna, a different ball game. When it comes to Lagos, it looks like it's going to be a bit more competitive right now. I will break all of those time soon. The special advisor to the president on media and policy communication, Dr. Daniel Bwala, was with me on the show yesterday, and even on our social media platforms. It just shows how interesting certain twists and plots and subplots could have. Congress, let me put it that way, in Abuja, all of the 22 progressive governors on the platform of the Progressive Congress, government on its own, an institution of God-side functions to, whatever it is that the executive is doing wrongly, legion that people have about this 10th assembly. On Monday, the reps member for it, of course, we have to reschedule because he said he had to be in a meeting late into the conversation, and that would have been a perfect time to have a review of how the 10th assembly, both the Senate and the reps, had performed. And it's if you observe how democracy works, then you know that the 10th assembly, the governor of Kaduna State is part of the people that endorsed the president for his second term. And then the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, the former FCT minister, Malam Nasir Rufai, is also leading the coalition against the government. But guess what? The son of the immediate past governor, and then a mentee to the current governor, is also part of the people that endorsed the second time election of President Bola, representing Kaduna North Federal constituency as the son of coalition against the re-election of the president. I don't know what you think about all of this. The people that put their lives on the line to fight for. The president said there's not come up on board. We'll play you those sound bites today. Courtesy from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday in Abuja. He said that you follow me to the APC or you resign your appointment. You're live from Mainland 98.3 FM. My guest is seated live in the studio. And today, I will look at local government administration in Lagos as we continue to build up the conversation. My name is AꞶʌɪᴜ Akínyẹ̀dé. You're welcome.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways. But there is not. If there were.
In our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor.
Quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing. We are starving. Tɪnūbū should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join OꞶʌɪᴜ Akínyẹ̀dé as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you your mates as we discuss the situations.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand.
Of Nigerians. I just need to tell those ones saying one party system is no good. It's one party ruling and driving the aspiration of Nigerians. You don't blame a people bailing out of a sinking ship when they have no life jacket, expecting more to come. We are in a constitutional democracy. Don't forget, Welcome to the progressives. Sweep them clean. Fellow members,
to emphasize the fact that no matter where we find ourselves, I don't know what else you know. Because as a PDP person, I love the PDP. I want to stay in the PDP in the elections. Not because we won't win election. In this state today, with the work that all of us have done, even if we contest on a zero party, we will win. Our party is not coming together. Every day we don't run all the elections. You perhaps win the election, and just on technical ground. I love my party. And in this stage, in any case, we're running like there's no party. The only agenda we run in our state is the ARISE agenda. No party in this country. Show me the ideological differences of each party that we have in this country. People just move. This is not like the Americans that have, Democrats, you know the ideology, and Dr. Itawan will tell you, I'm a Democrat, this is why I'm a Democrat, or I'm a Republican, this is why. I want someone in Nigeria to tell me why you are where you are. And so we need, the agenda we are pursuing is the ARISE agenda. And we must, this president did not create the situation we are in. And I don't know how to mince words, and I cannot be in the PDP today and supporting a president of another party. It will be clearly involved. So if I'm supporting the president, let me go to where I'll be able to say so and state the things he has done. I don't want to practice anti-party. I don't have the kind of strength that Tᴏɪᴜ Mᴜɪᴜ has, who will confront anybody. Me, I'm a very simple man by nature. I just say the way that I'm that I want to run both parties, far from it. And what is even wrong with being in trouble? We're going to do that, they have something coming. We will leave the structure of the party so that the party let the structure of the party remain. They've done their congresses. Let them run and let it be.
The hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not.
4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about
of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tᴏɪᴜ should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Oꜰ Akínyòdé as it takes to task seasoned and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you, roommate.
Thank you very much for staying with us. You heard those sound. Party states is not a problem, that we practice constitutional democracy, and that he wants even more of those governors. Remember, in the last few months, senators from Delta, from Osun, from Kebbi have all endorsed the second-term ambition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all of those senators are actually members of the opposition. And even governors have had to decamp a candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the last election into the All Progressive Congress. Now, you also heard the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo, based on technicalities because of the factions going on in the PDP. He said he doesn't want to submit a form to INEC, and INEC will come back and say the person that signed your form is the wrong, candidate, or is the wrong. He said something that if you are a political appointee under my administration and you choose not to follow me to the All Progressive Congress, resign your appointment and stay with the PDP that he's moving to the All Progressive Congress. Let me also quickly play you something from Elijah Abdullahi Ganduje talking about the entire conversation around the one-party state. Stick around.
Consonance with what is happening in Nigeria today. Almost every week in the Senate, House of Representatives, you see members of other political parties decamping into a party. So, and by Tuesday, I will urge you to go and see what will happen in the chambers. One party state, you see, if one party state is a wish and blessing to Nigeria, one one-party state is not by force governance of our party. If they decide to come into our party willingly, I think there's nothing like that. There's nothing with that. Today, democratic China is one of the most strong countries in the world, and it's a one-party system. We are not saying that we are working for one-party system, but if that is the wish of Nigerians, we cannot quarrel with that. You know, they say too many cooks spoil the soup. Too many political parties spoil governance.
Too many cooks spoils the soup. Too many political parties speaking about Alhaji Abdullahi Ganduje. Now, the president also reiterated that belief that next team, can we survive on a one-party state? And he said, Nigeria would never slide into. It was a coming together of CPC, ACN, some disgruntled governors in the PDP, a faction of ABGA, and other smaller political parties in February. The national chairman of the party also thinks that everything is good with one-party state. If you look at the composition of the governor to the All Progressive Congress, and if you cannot follow him, stay with the PDP, but he is also moving. We've also heard rumors that other state governors are this in the next few months. So the minds of everyone is this: can we is a community knowledge researcher and is with the African Cities Research Consortium, ACRC. On the show today, we're going to be focusing on local government administration in Lagos, especially as we continue to raise awareness and create involvement towards the July 12th local government election, way down to the last Friday preceding the election, where we talk about what you need to know and how and why you need to be involved in local government. So before we even come into local government conversation in Lagos, I played 3 sound bites. The first was from the president saying that there's no problem with the one-party state. We're practicing constitutional democracy and there's freedom of association, and you cannot be criminalized for choosing who to associate with. We also heard the governor of Akwa Ibom State that will most likely be seeking for re-election, saying that he's leaving the PDP and is going to the APC. And the last, which is the third one, was from the chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, saying that too much political parties spoils governance. What is your take in all of this? And also understanding that in 2019 and in 2027, it's looking like almost all of the political parties will be moribund. The Labour Party is struggling with leadership issues. What is your take about the whole idea of a one-party state?
Thank you very much, Okwe. I think maybe where we need to start from is we need to look at how beliefs, strong resolutions in or within your party. Yes, I don't blame control of most things. So I'm those crisscrossing, whether it's from the PDP or when had that strong conviction of what it is that their party stands for.
Ideology.
Yes, exactly. You know, so that is why you find out that at this stage now, you know, yes, that's how everyone will see it, that, oh, it's going to become a one-party. I think it's even already a one-party system already. Yes, because I think most times, you know, a lot of things kind of like transcend from Lagos State. Let me put it that way. Take, for example, the last local government elections. How many candidates from other
political parties
won
elections or seats?
Governor, a
local government
chairman position. You know, the whole 57 was taken by it. It was within the ward, you know, and then that exactly. So now imagine how that has spread across, you know, how that has spread across the state. It will now. The
pillars of democracy is having alternative voices, where if I don't exactly align with the ideologies, I'm always very careful when I use the word politician can eat breakfast in PDP, get a lunch in that way. But I mean, we have a very sensitive democracy where a lot of things form our opinion about governance. People vote based on, this person is my tribal person, this person is my religious person, this is the candidate of my party. Align with those my thoughts. we have 18 political parties already, and it looks like we have only one political party, the PDP 7. If you look at how we are as a people, especially with the kind of democracy we practice, Mr. Aro, do you think the Nigerian state...
Indirectly, like I said, we are happen. And somehow, some way, because
the opposition.
Exactly, because we became the opposition. And for whatever reasons, all the things that are happening in between the parties and things like that. So, but grassroots, because I feel there's a big disconnect between the people that, they say they are standing for.
And those governing those people.
Yes. So, if any party is looking for ways by how they can, get to that level, and they need to listen to what they are saying. And what are they saying? They are telling you their problems. Now, for example, the local governments, the communities, if they go within those communities, sit down with the people, understand, because I don't think they understand what's their problem. Because most times you have a community or an area where flooding is their issue, right? And somebody is going to say, with the people within the community, those basic things, have that town hall meeting properly with them, listen to them, understand them, even because most of all these communities and areas, you have people who have worked on research, and just take those things and priorities. Take the first one and do it. Take the second one, do it. You don't need to be doing 4, 5, 6 projects and be re-elected. And it grows like that. And before you know it, people are singing this party. Because I believe that's even one of the magics from Lagos, and before you know it, it started spreading. So every political party who is struggling, who is trying to
to their roots, that takes us to the conversation on the show today, the grassroots, our local government election, and care about what happens in their local government. When we talk about deficiencies in governance, the first point of call is the presidency, then the next up is the governors. A lot of us forget that we have local constitution section 14 subsection 2 that talks about the welfare of the people. It did not specify that the welfare concerns had to come from the presidency. It said the role of government, the primary responsibility of more so now that the local government are enjoying some level of autonomy. Maybe it's on paper, maybe it's on constitutional instilling their boys there, and maybe it's the state escorts that are picking the boys. But what that means is that local government chairman would not exactly wait for whatever governor to get in his own. Let's talk about this disconnect. You made mention of that particular conversation, that there's a huge level of disconnect between the government or they've not seen the need for them to embrace this level of governance.
Just add something to that distance now, because it's not just the people.
Government.
Exactly. Because it's like, the people are moving further, they are moving, so the gap just keeps growing. Until both of them stop and start looking for a way to come back and meet at the situation where, as we believe, things are supposed to change because they are getting, they need to look for how to provide services within these communities. Now, you have somebody who, or he's going to go and seek a private clinic, to get, it's supposed to be part of what the chairman would say, in my budget, people need to find a way to bridge that gap. If the politicians are not coming to them, they should go to the politician with our allocation, because it is for the people. It is not the local government chairman's allocation. It is meant for the people. So I think also transparency, because now we have a situation where no one knows specifically
how much local governments are getting.
Exactly. It's hearsay, So if there's transparency, there can be accountability. At the end of whether it is the month or the year,
you're showing me how you spent it.
Sometimes you assume, 100 million can do so large a thing.
And you find out that you can do almost.
And once you also know that you are accountable for whatever it is that you are collecting, you tend to be able to, make sure that, look, let me do the right thing.
Not just between the government and the governed. And the disconnect also involves people staying away from participating in election. There's a Yoruba adage that says that What that means is that if you did not invest in me, you cannot call me wasteful. That means if you didn't vote for me, you don't have the right to tell me that I've failed you. So I have been privileged to cover elections, both primaries of political parties in Abuja, cover elections around, and there's something about election days. It's a day where people go to play football on the streets. It's the day where people get to visit their friends and families. It's the day where people are praying that NEPA should bring light so that they can stay in-house during the day. It's the time that people pray that rain should fall so that the rule of disconnect. Because you've talked about the disconnect now between the government and the governed. But we're talking about the disconnect of people thinking that their vote would not count. About the candidate of a particular local government on the APC, and the person says, his opponent should not bother to campaign, to pull the people out and let them own the local government election specifically.
All right, thank you. So now the thing there, here, and what do I mean by proper public sensitization? Most times, yes, people do not know their rights. People do not know, because we have LASEC. Now, those are part of their functions, or even the politicians themselves, because they are the ones, making the rules and regulation. Because we are all human beings, most times, a lot of people would always look and say, it doesn't concern me, and things like that. But in all honesty, it does. It concerns you in every way, because you move within the state, you move within areas, communities, and things like that. Whether you drive, whether you go to work, or whether you even walk, even you walking on the street, it concerns you. So once they are people, even in other climes, other countries, where they stay in the sun, in the rain, just to queue and cast their vote, basically, so do these things. So there's so much that you can tell someone, not until that person decides, okay, I want to do it. Exactly. But it still has to do with the sensitization. And that I put on LASEC. Okay.
There is this level of distrust within the people and LASEC. Around October last year, I was at an INEC training and election. Should we dissolve INEC and set up a different body? Guess what the representative of INEC said? Make on dissolve us. Okay. Because even the process that I'm selling, how can we work on this? If we put the responsibility on LASEC and we think that, local government effectiveness can function when we have a proper electoral LASEC to conduct a free, because it begins from a free, fair, and credible election. Yeah. How can we sell this message to the people?
Okay. So now, in as much as the word indent, so we need to now take this conversation now to those who are the funders. And what do I mean by funders now? I mean, because funding for the agency comes from somewhere. You shouldn't, be the ones. Now, of course, it's not a say thing, but it needs to be in action. When we are saying, or when they are saying, they are the person heading, so of course, well, who appoints them? We need to check that system, basically, because in as much as we want to show credibility, we also need to, our actions, and I mean, those are the upper level. Exactly. It has to, so that, yes, some people would be like, if we kind of come up with a body that, you have somebody heading an agency that is supposed to be independent. That person also, to who is being put there to be independent, needs to be checked also to make sure that truly he is independent. So I think if we start from there, it trickles down, because by the time he starts to, bring in his soldiers, and I mean the people under him who would now spread across to ensure yes. Exactly. If your head is not okay,
the body is affected.
Exactly. So that's why you would have.
Sorrow, you are from the research. This one are for Igbo people. Oftentimes we see people that put in a whole lot of effort and commitment into drafting out research and recommendations to government, and they just throw them in the shelf and they just dust out. They don't even look at those recommendations. They don't work. You talked about something initially. You talked about the fact that local government don't even run needs assessments, and they don't care what the priorities of the people are. They probably just do what they think is convenient for them. Oh, I have 10 million. If I do through transformer, that's 8 million. We have only 2 million to share. If you do road, that's 4 million. We have 6 million to share. So oftentimes they'll do road so that they have local government involvement.
Okay, so research, for example, now, it might be, and I mean locally, people, even at the family unit, the basic things. Take, for example, a family. A father wants to go and, neither would he just, he would kind of, whether it is that he's going to first of all do price survey, to go to the market and buy what it is that would please him. That would be like, okay, yes, I tried, I got something, So the same thing. Research, basically, when we go into communities and we do the research, it is not for the sake of, do it and then hang it somewhere and things like that. Because sometimes you go into some places and, at the surface level, you just, assume, okay, these people, it is flooding. But meanwhile, it is housing that is their problem.
There's a problem.
Yes. Or it could be something else. So that research actually, open, there's the AR projects, which are the action research projects, basically, had gone. I would be wondering, because even at some point when the whole thing started, some people were saying, street light will go chop, and things like that. But they found out that this street light solves crime, it gives people safety. Street light alone has kind of, covered economy, safety, security, and things like that. Who would have thought? And then you have a situation where you don't understand, or because sometimes you have not been in a community or an area before. So no, this research that has been done, you see everything there. Even sometimes you can even tie your budget
around the result of the research.
That way, the people would even have more confidence in you, because first of all, they would see that, you are listening to us, because the research came from,
conversation
with the community. So these things now are certain things that would make sure that you are on the right track. Sometimes, the day, happy people is re-elected.
If you have results to show, I always tell people, second term agendas is more like a referendum. While I was away from here, or before I got into office, easily come sell that to a potential voter that I want you to vote for me. A few years ago, we had, people can see. I've always said that campaign should be a result based, especially if you are going for second term. Why should you struggle to win a second term election when you spent 4 years? What have you done in those 4 years?
Times, I think we are, in as much as we might be a bit in poor, you have an area where some people have abandoned their vehicles, because they don't say, they can't say they didn't see, or they don't see people within this area that, the roads are not motorable. And if somebody comes in, he does that road, for example, those that have abandoned their vehicles would
move it.
It makes things,
they don't come claim it, exactly. You auction it.
It makes things a lot easier. So it's very, very, I think part of the things we also need to do is to reorientate most of the aspirant also too, because if you have done something, and I don't mean just anything, because it's not just be,
something
tangible. What the people have clamored for, if you've done it within those 4 years,
you should struggle
for your campaign. Basically, the money for the office there, you are keeping it so that you are able to use it for election. Why is that?
Okay, in case you're just tuning in, you're live from Mainland 98 where we have a big review of everything we've done in the course of the Fridays away from you, and we'll have, round the clock conversation about sensitization, informing the people, making them involved in local government election. I saw local government in Lagos State, and I'm like, how did we get to this point? Alimosho local government is supposed to be maybe the largest local government in Nigeria. from Ikotun to Egbeda to Alimosho to Abule Egba, everything is about 2 million voting potentials, and less than 300,000 people are coming to vote. And that is something. What do you think has been the problem that is continuing or that's continued to make people disconnect from even local government, where you can literally see your local government chairman every day of the week, you still would not vote? What is the problem, and what can we do to fix
local government? That within it, we have some LCDs that during the rainy season, people actually use boats on the road. And why is that? Because of a failure somewhere along the line. You have it. So now because I think some people are actually getting away with this our conversation, and I'm talking about the councillors now, because within the Alimosho, I think earlier on I was saying that the councillors, the wards, basically FC won practically almost everything except for 2 wards, as in Lagos. What are those councillors doing? Because these are they are now supposed to be the one who are like, you have somebody up there, you have somebody in the middle, and then you have somebody at the ground. Exactly. You are the ones that you are supposed to fight. If your chairman is forgetting anything, you're supposed to fight for your ward. So but when there is a failure on all levels, that's where we get to. People will not vote. Even now, okay, imagine somebody who is supposed to go and vote and he cannot even come out of his compound. And
maybe raised on the money of election.
Exactly.
And he's struggling.
It won't work. So those are why those things would always happen. And it goes beyond not just roads. You have people who are, for whatever reason, are practically homeless right now. Because whether it is economic situation or whether it is that, there are some people
once
who
the club gathers, they are moving out of their houses.
Yes. Some people are like, I don't even know if my house is going to be standing where it is after this rain. So those are the problems, and that is why the voters' turnout will continue to drop. Places like you have when you go to areas on the island now, you have some areas there where it's like it is their drive that is pushing them to actually go out to say, look, we need to make a change, basically.
Okay. The July 12, 2025 timetable of INEC, a lot of people had come out to criticize it. IPAC, for instance, said that they were not carried along when the timetable was released. A lot of NGOs had also written a petition, asked that why the rush? Why are we so quick into making local government election in Lagos at that level? How optimistic are you, Mr. Ari, about the upcoming local government in Lagos? When I'm talking about your optimism, going into that election with the right mindset, I mean, people often assume that once it's local government and you win the ticket of your party at the local government, go and start buying polo for inauguration. You've won the election already. People always feel like, forget our opposition. No, even local government chairman running for the LCDs and the local government in Lagos on the 12th of July.
Okay, so, these things don't just start out of the blues like that. And I'm talking of somebody who is newly contesting, or he wants to be, you don't just wake up and say, we go and pick up a form because I've been a party member and things like that. There has to be some level of community. But, people within that, your local government, or your LCDAs, this person, he wasn't even chairman when he was doing all this and things like that. It gives me a lot of confidence if I see that person's name on the ballots. Exactly. That, this is somebody that is going to do something, when he now has the power and the money, to do those things. So when you now have somebody who has not even, done any form of community or engagement, or even
they don't even know him in the community
association itself. he was not, and then he just shows up basically on what you expect, different things that will work or will not work, and then the remaining 2 years, he keeps going. So now I'm not, because sometimes you could have a situation where, yes, you have a series of projects to do within the local government. had that knowledge of, okay, these are the issues within my local government. These are the things within my
Okay, the phone lines are buzzing, and then I want to ask you, let's have like a general overview of local government administration in Lagos. Mr. Ismail, I've stayed in by privilege. I think it's a rare privilege. Southeast. I was born, raised in the Southwest. I've seen all of these things work, and it looks like local governments have the same problem all over the country. People just look away from what is your assessment of local government in Lagos? Let me limit it to from 1999 till now, or better still, Governor WG Sanwo-Olu. How would you assess local government operation in Lagos and their performance? Because sometimes you ask yourself, wait, so if the governors are saying they are getting money, and the local government are also getting money, what exactly are the governors doing? The test is a state road, this is a local government road. How would you assess local government in Lagos in the last?
For some reason, the people, as in the chairman, have been able to kind of perform. Some 50%, some maybe 65%, thereabout, and taking performance to the lowest of all levels, basically. So it kind of spoils everybody's attire, basically, because you're all under the hold. I don't mean they should hold their neck, but
at least
they really need
demand
to know your
local government chairman.
Yes, so that, because I'm pretty sure there are some areas that some people, the councillors are working with. If you, it's like a father who sends his child to school and he comes at things like that. And then he expects
just move on.
Exactly, moves on. And then he expects that, okay, the child will go to primary 2.
You expect the child to be writing common entrance.
Exactly. I'm still in primary 2. You see? So that's the same thing with how we are seeing things here. You have a situation where now to thy kingdom come, but if we don't hold people accountable for the positions they are in, we won't get anywhere, because then you don't perform. No, we want people who would run, win,
and perform.
That's what we want, because at the end of the day now, all these things cascades. You wonder why, you're like, oh, they've passed on. There are a lot of issues, and some of these things, I think we are the ones, it's man-made. We are the ones causing it, basically.
After the APC did their screening, I saw the age of I'm trying to understand when you would run for governor or when you'd become president. So if you are still 56 and you are contesting for councillor, and I'm wondering, like, how did we get to this point where everyone sees politics as a means to an end? Well, if I don't take anything away from today, Mr. Ismail Arad giving me something that should be the watchword for every politician: run, win, and winning. And you are the chairman of Ikeja local government, but you are saying in Ibejuleki, if the people in Ibejuleki did not fix that, you should run, win, and perform. That is what I'm taking home this evening. Mr. Ismail Aro is a community knowledge researcher in Lagos, vis-a-vis the preparation for the July 12, 2025 local government election in Lagos. And the truth is this: I can tell you for a fact that there are a lot of people just knowing the time of the local government election because that the political parties have even concluded their primaries. A lot of people don't know that last year has already released timetable for election. Short committee, people don't know because a lot of people just focus on what the President Bola Tinubu is doing. Nobody cares what the local government chairman of Alimosho is doing. Nobody cares what the local government SCDA chairperson in Kosofé is doing. President Bola Tinubu to ask him question, time him.
Yes.
Look at when he's driving to the secretariat. Don't attack him. Say, Mr. Chairman, local government should be the easiest place you can ask for accountability.
Exactly.
Because so if you're asking your local government chairman and he's referring you to the councillors, then something is wrong somewhere. Well, the phone lines are buzzing. We'll open the conversation. It is Research Consortium, ACRC, like I said. All things being equal, I will allow you to talk right now. All things being equal, we should have like a sensitization sequence or a module of programs for all of the Fridays in June and one of the Friday in July, leading to the July 12 local government election in Lagos. Milan FM is all out to make sure that local government modules of engagement, autonomy of local government government, voter sensitization, accountability from the local government chairman, project prioritization, which should come first. We'll have all of those modules for you all through the Fridays of June and the one of the Fridays in July leading to the election. Like I said, a lot of people don't know that there's election in Lagos on the 12th of July. Now you know. So the question is this: you have to start paying attention to the posters in your local government. You have to start paying attention to the banners in your local government secretariat. Ask question: oh, this person is contesting for local government chairman. I have his phone number. Oh, he's one of the place I used to go and buy water. Sit him down, okay? I think hope you not relocate from this local government and go and be staying in another big man's local government. I think during the last election, somebody raised my Mr. of Moso, for instance. What am I doing in Ibejuleki? Answer me now. What am I doing in
all this local
you
government?
Must be a resident of that community.
So how did we go from here to there? Because these things, you know, what do you expect at the end of the day for somebody who does he wants to fix or do things within the local government he won? You know, he would always be going for the wrong passions now, and most times they are either, you know, people who are landlords, you know, and things like that. And we have the last Saturdays, which they all sit down and meet. These are where you can, the councillors come. Even the
local government chairman sit down.
Exactly. For example,
this is our meeting.
Exactly. Attend CDA meetings. It does not cost you anything to attend that.
That is even part of your schedule. Exactly. You should be ready and available.
You know, because that way you are able to connect with the people.
Let's because 88 houses. That was the day Liverpool and Real Madrid played the Champions League final where Mohamed Salah's hand was dislocated by Sergio Ramos. I think that was like many years ago. And just 76 landlords. The election was declared inconclusive. Because if Nigeria has a transparent and accountability election by INEC, you will see that any ruling party will sit tight and there would not be all this crisscrossing from one party to the other. And that is because we don't have a trusted INEC. That is all the problem. Okay. This one says, my name is Ayola from Ikorodu. Your guest has spoken well. A local government chairman needs to go close to the people and stop hobnobbing with the governors who pays the piper dictates the tune. I think the governors still have a total control of local government, but thank you for this program. Where I tell you, I don't even know my local government chairman. I don't even know his name. I live in Mowe. Do you know that those guys, do you know what they do with thugs? What are we all saying? That's Friday from Mowe. Okay, I don't know what I need to have is electoral reforms, and I'm sure you today, if electoral reforms happen, APC would never retain the presidential seat. Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, guys. Vote will not count as a result of epileptic electoral system, and they would tell you that Nigerians have spoken. What a joke. That is Owen from Lagos. Okay, James from Agbado Junction says it is very unfortunate that most of the things that Tİജrūબ્ᴜ and his supporters in our assembly, could it be that he has sorted the issue of power supply, or could it be that no Nigerian has lost his life under this administration? Maybe the cost of commodities have also favored Nigerians. Can one tell Nigerians what the current administration has done to benefit the people? Okay, let's do this in 30 seconds. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Straight over the street light. I'm interested over the street light because it's getting to 2 years now, but I agree, they don't have street lights, and they have already changed the old one, and then the new one that is installed is not working.
Wow.
So everywhere it's become darkness. You know, even talking about the general light issue is not tough.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cletus. I think I'm excited about what we're going to be doing in June and leading into July. I would have an opportunity for you to call in and state your local government and state the challenges that your local.
Leave
that one. No, I'm not involved with that
one. Place is a good development because if your guest can speak to us, many people don't even know who is that councillor.
You may be close to election.
He can die with you. When when you need feed 24/7.
Thank you.
And who allowed this?
Thank you.
Until maybe when your guys keeping popping it.
These politicians don't care about anything. Imagine there's one man for your boy. He has not even won the election, and his number is not going. John Bernardo on Facebook says, local government stopped working since the beginning of one. Outraged that neither the media and Nigerians are keeping silent over the insertion of a staggering 6.9 trillion into the 2025 federal government budget exposed by Budget Nigeria. Indeed, citizens are the victims of this brazen corruption and they are daily treated so badly. Benjamin says, in all voices that you have played today, tell me any of them that talked about how to better the lives of the people. It is all about personal gain. If Ganduje tells us there's nothing wrong with a one-party state by citing China as an example, I tell you, if they adopt the China system, it would not have been alive today to say what he's saying when he was caught on camera hiding dollars in his agbada. If one does that in China, the life will go for it. 2027 shall tell. Not the campaign we are seeing politicians doing. That's Benjamin from Shogunle. Prince Wise, 30 seconds real quick.
It didn't belong to a political party. That's number one. Number two, why, especially in this Lagos state, why can't other party win the election in Lagos?
It's everywhere. I've covered the election for so many years, and I'll tell you that it's very difficult to have a maybe, for instance, for 30 seconds, let's wrap this up real quick. What more should we need to look out for as we build up to the local government election in Lagos?
Okay, so quickly, Prince Wise, I don't believe, make sure that the people, because like even those who are trying to, win your votes, do your research on them. Try to know what it is that they have done. Yeah, because I'm talking about those people.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ismail is a community knowledge researcher from the African Cities Research Consortium. And I told you guys, I will take your Friday, all things being equal, I will take all of your Fridays in the Milan FM Sunset News. And by 6 o'clock, I would also come back for the Friday edition of Sports Quiz Live from Milan 98.3 FM. It's a time of the time. Oᴏᴜᴜ, thank you so much, Mr. Ismail, for being my guest on the show today. Next up is the Milan FM Sunset News.